Welcome to another episode of the Sexuality Scale Project podcast. Thank you so much for listening. This episode, we're talking about bisexuality, kissing girls in school, cultural differences, and role-playing. I would also like to apologize for the start of the episode. The sound quality isn't the greatest. I had some technical difficulties. I apologize.
So I'm from Portugal. I'm 25 years old. I come from a small city 30 minutes from Lisbon by the sea. And I consider myself bisexual, even though I didn't have as much experiments with women than with men.
Okay, and you identify as a woman?
Yes.
Why did you move to Berlin?
Well, for economical and for, personal reasons. And also because at the time my father died like 2 years ago and my family was crazy, so I felt that it was a good moment to move, to go away and make some money and then come back to finish my studies.
So how do you feel now living in Berlin? Like, how does that make you feel as a person, being out of Portugal in that situation?
Well, sometimes I'm very happy, but this might sound weird, but sometimes I'm very happy and sometimes I feel not very unhappy, but I have some unhappy moments when I feel that I'm being misunderstood because of the way that I was raised and because of my culture, like these two things combine in how I act now. And sometimes I feel that I'm misunderstood and this makes me feel like alone, because if I don't have like a feedback from people when I talk, it's like I feel like I don't have anyone to communicate, and this is
what do you mean with feedback?
Like to have like a connection with people, sometimes I feel that like I cannot create a connection with people because of the culture, because it's two very different cultures. But this is sometimes and sometimes I have like good friends and they are German and we have our differences, but we can connect. But sometimes I don't know why, like the way that people are is like very, I don't know, distant. It's a bit distant. It's like.
But do you think that's a cultural thing, or do you just think that's a personal thing? Like a personality trait?
I think it's both. I think the culture can influence the connection because, I don't know, for personal reasons, because they are afraid or I don't know.
Right. No, I see that. But I don't think... I'm not entirely sure myself if that's a cultural thing. I think it has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So, most people come here feeling a lot more free in certain ways, and especially when it comes to sexuality. From what I gathered so far is that people moving to Berlin have a sort of sexual freedom that gets unleashed, I would say. Do you feel that way?
Not necessarily, because I come from a very small town conservative, but I don't know how I got this from or which reference I got it, because it would be the opposite. But I always have been like pretty open about my sexuality. Like I have some limits. I'm always like interested, and I don't think that I became more open when I came to Berlin. I think I've always been. There is a lot of things that I see in the streets that surprise me in terms of sexuality. I don't know, like homosexual people openly like kissing in the street, and travestis making a huge party, or people just being how they are,
Right.
and this was something that surprised me in a positive way, because I like to see variety, something that you don't see so much, not yet, in Lisbon.
Right. I get that.
Like there is some gay polos or areas.
Yeah.
There is some areas, for example in Lisbon there is a gay neighborhood called Príncipe Real. I actually lived there before I came to Berlin. And but it's like areas, you know. It's like in a way it's cool that there is some areas for specific types of society, but in another way I think like everyone should go anywhere, you know. Like there should not be like a gay neighborhood or a black neighborhood, or I think it should be like
I agree.
everyone walks everywhere being who they are.
Right. No, I agree. So we do have a neighborhood here, but I do think that a lot of stuff is very spread out. Like different gay bars are in different areas, so every area has their own gay bars, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, and something really nice is that like everyone is open to everyone is invited. Like everyone is welcome to come. Like there is not this thing about like, okay, like if you are not gay you cannot come in. Like, you know, like everyone can come.
No, I agree. I do think there needs to be right now still places for gay people to go because of society, because it's not that accepted yet, and we need safe spaces.
I agree.
So that's the only reason why I'm like, okay, in the future, no. But you said that even though you grew up, you know, in the area of Lisbon, you were already feeling sexually free, like you were very open. Did you come out as bi at some point, or was this like automatically assumed already? Like, did you have a girlfriend when you were in high school? Like, how did that?
No, I never came out. I just like I had a friend that I don't remember what was the situation. I think she was like kissing girls, and I knew that I find girls as beautiful as guys before, but I was like it never came up the opportunity to kiss a girl because there was not so many people. First there was like in high school there was not so many gay people like being out, and second there was not any girl that's really interested me to actually to have something, but there was this friend of mine that she was like kissing girls, and I was like thinking, okay, maybe like it's time to try it, and then I was like joking with her. I was like, I never kissed a girl. Can you like show me how you kiss it? And she was like, okay. And then she like gives me like a smoosh. Yeah, and this was the first time that I kissed a girl. But for me, it was like, imagine for my mother, like I would never admit to her that I like girls also, because one time she told me that if she had a gay or a gay son or a gay daughter, that she would like go crazy or something like this. And I think it's like not. It's not necessary to cause this trouble to her. It's like when I'm vegetarian, it's the same thing. When I started to be vegetarian, I also didn't told her, because for her not to eat meat, it's also something like really shocking, you know. So I think it's not necessary to give her this trouble, because I'm okay with it. Like I don't need her to know that I like girls also.
Yeah. You don't need her acceptance.
Yeah, I don't need her acceptance. And I think it's just gonna cause trouble in her head. She's like 64 years old. Her father was a military, killing people in the jungle in Africa. And she could not go out could not come home after 12 o'clock. So I think it's not necessary to tell her. But with my friends, and like I would say I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. With one of my brothers who I get along better, like with the people that actually I can like talk about everything, I tell them, and I'm proud of it, because I think it's cool to not just stick to one gender, you know. Yeah.
But what is your experience with women? Like, I don't think it's just that smooch.
No. For a long time I didn't have any experiments, because I was growing up. I was kissing some boys in the clubs with my friends. Then I had a boyfriend, my first boyfriend. Then I lost my virginity. And then
how old were you then?
I was 19. Yeah. And also because of my background, because my mother is very conservative, and I would say like 19 is kind of late to lose your virginity. So for a long time I didn't have experience. And then when I was single after my second boyfriend, I had like 1 year, or almost 2 years I was single. I was like really free, and I was trying things. And there was a woman, actually she was Dutch, But
Those Dutch women.
yeah, she was
They're
a Dutch one.
corrupting all women in the world.
She
Yes.
was really pretty, but I felt that she had some problems to solve in her life, and I think the fact that we had something, it was not because she was actually interested in me. It was because because we had some conversations, and she was saying that she was tired of men. She suffered a lot with men. That's why she was dating women. And I mean, she was like telling me, come to Holland. I will pay you everything. You will live with me. And because of all of these reasons, I didn't continue the relationship. You know.
Was she much older or something?
Yeah, she was like, at the time I was maybe 21 or 22, and she was like 30.
Okay.
Yeah, and this was something more serious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was kind of bad for me also because, I mean, I just had a breakup and I was like single, going crazy. Like, if I wanted to fuck someone, I would. And I think she was kind of like, maybe like she was alone, or she needed someone like to be there for her, because if she said something like, I pay you everything, live with me, it sounds a bit desperate. So, like,
Or she was really in love with you.
Well, yeah.
Did she ever say that? Did she
No.
say she was in love with you?
No, she didn't. No.
Strange.
Yeah.
People are
But we
strange
had a
sometimes.
good connection. Yeah.
Do you still talk to her?
No.
Not at all.
No. Yeah, I told her that it was she didn't seem like emotionally stable for me, and I was also not emotionally stable, so it was not a good idea
well, that's a very a mature decision to make then, to just walk away from it. So you said like you had a period where you were, when you wanted to fuck somebody, you would just go fuck somebody. So did you have a lot of one night stands, or like?
I think it was a funny story, but I had it was not really a boyfriend, but I was with a guy for 3 or 4 months, like a French guy, and he was like a fucking asshole. But anyway, people make wrong choices.
We all have.
I can't believe until today that I was with this guy, but he was like homophobic, racist. Like, he was half Algerian, half French, and he was like talking bullshit about Algerian people, and I was like, dude, you are half Algerian. How can you like
Self-loathing? Yeah, self-hatred?
But anyway, like we were together for some time. It was not like really a boyfriend, but I thought about, like, when we were still together, I thought about going to France to visit him because he was leaving, and then we broke up like before that, but I had the ticket to go, so I went to France, and I had like 2 night stands, and this was fun. But one of them was like kind of like, it had in the end like a sour flavor, like
Why?
because like we were talking before, like when even if I have a one night stand, like I like to know the person a bit, like I like to see, and there like, for me, I need to have some like intellectual attraction. Yeah. And for me, he, like, in the beginning it was very funny, blah blah blah. I was like visiting Marseille, and he was working in the hostel where I stayed. And then, like, we didn't immediately had sex in the first night that we met, but in the third night or something like this. And we were like connecting very well, like through communication, through talking. And it seemed like we were in the same boat. And then I slept in his house. And then in the morning, this is when the shit went down. It was like the guy we were chilling in the balcony, and he was like, okay, my girlfriend is coming from Switzerland today, you have to go now, I have to change the bed. And I'm like, what the fuck, like, you didn't tell me that you had a girlfriend. He was like, but we just like we kind of broke up, like, we just separated, and now she's coming back. And yeah, this was a punch in the stomach, because we had such a nice conversation in the days before, in the 2 days before, and the kissing was very, like, was very nice. There was a lot of attraction, and then, like, out of nothing, this comes out, So,
that is weird. Do you think he was like hiding it, or was he really taken by surprise that she was coming back?
I think he was surprised, but still, I think it's not a way of doing things like yeah, now you have to go, like a fucking trash bag, like
He was like kicking you out of the door.
yeah, like
basically.
kicking me out.
Yeah.
I was like shocked, like what the.
Would you consider having feelings for somebody in that moment in time? Like, do you have a little bit of a crush on somebody before you can have sex with them?
Yeah, totally.
Right. So you do have to have a little bit of an emotional feeling.
Or there is a lot of sexual attraction, but this is very rare.
Chemistry.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is rare.
You think that you are capable of just having sexual chemistry with someone and not like have any emotional relationship feelings with someone? Like you can really separate that out? Or do you think for you it is combined a little bit?
I think it is combined, and I think for me it is possible to have sex with someone just based on like chemistry, like sexual attraction, but after I always like develop some kind of like crush. So for me, in any case, there's always like some kind of emotion, like there's kind of a...
Right. So what you're saying is, this is interesting with somebody else that's the same thing pretty much. Like you can have a one-night stand, you meet somebody, have sex with them, but then after you have sex with them, you like them so much that you want to get to know them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like for me, for example, it's like I need to get to know them before I can have sex with somebody.
Yeah.
So for you, it'd be like I can have sex with somebody without knowing them that well, but then after I have that sexual connection, I need to get to know them better.
Yes, but not all the time.
Okay.
Only in very specific cases when the chemistry is very high. When I'm like, oh my god, like
You've
this person.
tested the merchandise and you want more.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happens. You're like, this sex is really good. I want more, so I'm gonna want to know this person.
But in most of the cases, it's like you. It's like first I need to know the person and then I have sex with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a partner?
Yes.
How long have you been together?
For almost 3 years.
And are you in a... you're not in an open relationship?
No.
Does he know that you're bisexual?
Yes.
Is he straight or is he
pan
or bi?
He says he's straight, but I saw him like sometimes kissing his friends.
His guy friends? Really?
Yeah, I mean like actually it's his friends that kiss him, but like I think... I don't know.
Is he like really drunk at the time and he doesn't
care?
Yeah.
But more like his friends because like he's a really good guy. Like he has like really good friendships, and I would say like everyone where he goes, like people really like him because he's actually a really nice guy. So he has nice, really strong friendships, and he's an artist and he had some exhibitions. And at some point, they were all really drunk, and two of his friends just like kiss him, especially one of them, but like really like a huge kiss. I didn't saw it, but he told me after, and he was like, "Oh, can kiss me with tongue," and I'm like, "Oh, but you must have liked it to let him kiss you, no?" Like and he was like, "Oh no," but I think like
that he liked it.
Yeah.
Didn't that make you feel jealous though, or were you okay with it? What if it had been a girl? Let me ask that. Like, would it have been different for you?
No. The thing is that, like, I know that they are friends. That's why I'm not jealous, But I think if it would be a man, like, just trying to kiss him, or a
like
girl...
in a bar, or when he's
I think
out.
I would be equally jealous, because it's someone that is trying to take him away from me, It doesn't matter the gender.
Maybe not. Maybe they're not trying to take him away from you. Maybe they're just... maybe it's just a one-night thing.
Yeah, but, in my emotional jealousy brain, I'm like, someone is, like, taking my schnoofy away.
So that means that, because you are in a relationship with him, you are not disconnecting the sex from the love feeling that you have for him, because that's the intimacy thing.
Yeah.
Right. So you feel like he would be intimate with somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you think that when you're having sex in a relationship that it's better than when you're having sex with somebody you don't know that well?
No. I think it's...
You sound very sure of that.
Yeah.
Please explain.
Because I had both. I had like really good sex in a relationship, really bad sex in a relationship, really good sex in not in a relationship, and really bad sex in not a relationship. You know what I mean? So I think it really depends on the person.
I think you're correct. I think it's all about the chemistry.
Yeah.
And the connection that you make with somebody. Are you into anything kinky?
Well, I would not call it kinky, but yeah, I think role play can be really funny. Like, not like, imagine sometimes in pornography you see this like ridiculous role play, not like that. Like I believe that
like the nurse outfit and the doctor kind of.
No, like I would maybe be into like having some costumes, but I mean, I don't know, like
what?
I don't know, like like a sexy nurse or something like this. But I think in pornography, like things are like shown in a very like unrealistic way, you know, role play. And I think I never did it, but I'm interested in threesomes, but not with another guy, with another girl.
Right.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask that as my next question. Have you ever had a threesome?
No.
Have you spoken about this with your partner?
Yeah.
And what does he say about this?
Well, I think he would be really happy to have one. And one day...
I wouldn't be surprised he would like to have one with two women.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how concrete are these plans?
Well, I don't know. I think we need like some more time to actually do it. But there was one time that I was at work and he was really drunk, and there was this girl, like a friend of an artist that is a friend of us, and she mentioned before that she found me very hot, but I didn't find her attractive. But he was really drunk and she was really drunk also, and they were talking about it, and then they went to pick me up to work with the intentions of like having a threesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not there. I was already at home. And anyway, I would not have like a threesome if like my boyfriend and another girl that I'm not even attracted to would come to my job like to pick me up. Let's have a threesome now, like like bam, you know, like yeah. So this was like the closest thing that happened to actually.
You didn't know the girl?
I knew her and I didn't find her attractive.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to do what I saw a lot of couples do in Amsterdam in the lesbian bar and go out on the hunt for a lesbian. Because I would sit in the lesbian bar with friends, and then we would see these straight couples, well, straight, you know, bisexual couples, I guess, walk in looking for another woman, and then they would start talking to one and blah, blah, blah. And obviously we all knew what was going on. So it was kind of like, oh, here we go again. And they're looking for a third.
Yeah, actually, I think I've been in that position. And I was like 20 or 19, and I was in a bar in the south of Portugal where you've been, like and I was going out, like I was with my older sister and with a friend of us. And I see like a couple, and they're like looking at me and smiling, and like they started to talk to me, but I was a child, like I was like 18 or 19, something like this. And then my sister was like what do you want with my sister, like
Ew.
Yeah.
How old do you think they were?
I think they were like over 30.
That's a bit creepy, to be honest, because they can't tell. I mean, you're also a little short, so I would imagine if you're like 18, you might be even 16 at that point. Like you don't know from looking at you, because you look a lot younger.
Yeah, I was looking really young. This was strange.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, that's a bit creepy. Speaking of creepy, if you have not been living under a rock in the last few months, there's a lot of controversy right now in Hollywood, all these women coming out about, you know, sexual harassment and all that stuff. Has anything ever happened to you that you didn't feel comfortable with? If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to talk about it.
No, it's okay. Like I had several situations where I felt uncomfortable, but one in particular was like the worst. It was the more severe. It was a friend of mine. I knew him for 3 years, and now I feel very how can you say liberated to talk about it, because It's not in the past few months. It's not the first time that I tell the story, but for a long time I didn't tell it to anyone because I was ashamed. But because of, like you said, the Me Too movement, it gave me strength to talk about it. And now I'm like blah 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 blah, like talking like
that actually means that's a good thing that you're saying that, because that actually means the Me Too movement works, because you felt liberated to talk about it.
Yeah.
So just for confirmation, all you women out there who want to talk, or
it's
men,
worked a lot. Yes,
it helps.
Of course, but I mean, I think that's not like rocket science. It's like union, you know, like when a lot of people get together, no matter what is like which color, which gender, like they feel empowered to
Totally.
like fight against something.
Totally.
But anyway, what happened was like this friend of mine. I met him for 3 years. He was very funny. I like him a lot. I considered one of my closest friends. I met him through the university, and during these 3 years, like there was some signs that he was like interested in me, but I was always telling him that I wanted to be his friend. You know, like I told you before, I expect men to see me as a friend and not only as a sexual being. And but I didn't took it seriously. I just thought, okay, it's like he's my friend and he has a crush on me, but it will go away, you know. Like I told him already that I'm not interested. He will like get over it and continue to be friends. That's what I thought. So during these 3 years, he tried to kiss me like 2 times, and I rejected him, and we continued to hang out together. And then there was a phase that he finished university and I started to work. It was the year that I stopped going to the university, and then we were distant for some time, and then we started to hang out together again. And there was one night that he came to pick me up to work, and we got really drunk, like in the streets of Bairro Alto in Lisbon. It's the bar area. And then we went to my apartment, and this was not something strange. Like in this time he had done this 2 or 3 times. We were out together and he would sleep in the sofa like friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not strange for me, and neither for him. And then we went to my apartment, and we were like talking, blah, blah, and out of nothing he just kisses me very aggressively, and he rips off my dress. And I was like totally drunk. I was wasted, so wasted that at some point I vomited in the floor. Yeah. And we like almost like engaged in sex, like we were naked together in the same bed. And I was like always telling him like, no, I cannot do this. And he was like kind of continuing, and I was like, no, I cannot do this. And then at some point, like we both fell asleep. And then the next day, I didn't have the courage to say like, you're disgusting, get out of my house, you know, because we were friends, you know, like how can
Oh my God, you felt like if I say something, the friendship will be over. I'm gonna hurt his feelings.
Or I'm gonna
honey.
He's gonna be offended, you know. Like,
yeah, that's so. Yeah, I get it. Like, but that's also kind of weird at that point, because he totally crossed the line. He was actually doing that to you. Like you were worried about hurting his feelings, but he did that to you.
Yeah, I know, but I was young and naive, you know. Like
totally.
I didn't.
No,
have
I get it.
So much experiment in this. I mean, it's nice to not have experiments in this, right? Like no one should have an experience like this. But anyway, I didn't know how to act, but I knew that something was wrong. You know, I knew that I didn't want this situation to happen like this. You know, because I was not interested in him, and I told him several times during 3 years that I was not interested in him. So anyway, we in the morning we kissed in the mouth, and we said goodbye, and I never saw him again. And after this, I started to avoid him because I didn't want to see him again. But I didn't know how to deal with the situation, you know, because I didn't know how to tell him that he crossed the limit, you know, because I really didn't know what to do. And then years passed, I never saw him again. Then the Me Too.
Wait a minute, so this incident happened.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you didn't speak to him again, or you tried to stay friends?
No, I didn't speak to him again.
So how did that happen? Like, did you just stop talking to him because you were angry with him?
No, I was just like ashamed, and it was kind of awkward for me because I didn't know what to do with the situation. I knew that it was something that I didn't want it to happen. But at some point, I also think that I felt that I didn't do anything to stop it. But that is also because I
did.
was fucking drunk.
Yeah, but you did do something to stop it. You said no.
Yeah,
That's the only thing that you were supposed to do.
Yeah,
There's
it's
nothing
true, but
else.
he continued.
You shouldn't have to fight. You shouldn't have to push him off of you. You just say no. I don't want this, and that's it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, but I did that.
And he didn't.
But at some point,
no.
but at the same time, the situation continued, even though I said no.
Because he forced himself on you. Yeah. Was there actual sex, or did he try and it never really happened because you both were drunk?
Well.
Or do you not remember?
Like he was like inside of me, but I was like no, and then he went out. Yeah.
Okay.
For like some 1 or 2 minutes.
Right.
You know?
That's 1 or 2 minutes too long.
I was like fucking drunk. I was so drunk that I was like no. I was really like I don't want this, and yeah.
So you actually stopped talking to him because you felt it was uncomfortable. You didn't stop talking to him because you were angry with him.
No.
How do you feel about that now?
Now, I'm not angry at him, but I feel very sorry for him because.
Why?
Because it's now. I remember at the time there was also a friend of us that he kissed, also in the same context, going out and getting drunk, and she stopped him. And
did she beat him up?
Huh?
Did she hit him?
I think she pushed him.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. And now I feel sorry for him because if he has to do this in this way,
totally sad.
It's very sad. Yeah, he's a very sad guy. Yeah.
What would you say to him? Like, just say you're out with your boyfriend and you run into him. What would you say?
Well, I it sounds stupid, but I think until today I don't have the courage to say anything in his face. But I actually confronted him through Messenger.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, after the Me Too movement, I had the strength to do it.
Okay, wow.
And I told him, and he denied it. He said that I also wanted it, and that...
of course he thinks that.
Yeah, and he felt very offended, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, if we ever see each other in the street, do me a favor and turn around. Like, don't talk to me. Like, just leave. Because I don't want to talk to him again.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting... in his mind that this was consensual. That's the lie he's telling himself, just not to accept the fact that he was actually forcing himself on you. I just have such a hard time understanding why somebody hears no and doesn't do what's being said.
Yeah, I don't know also.
That still blows my mind.
You know, at the time I felt very guilty because I thought, okay, like maybe I was not clear enough, you know? Because if he continued...
All victims think that way. Most victims think that way. Like, I wasn't fighting hard enough. I wasn't being clear enough.
But I
didn't
so
do my
drunk.
best. But it's not your fault.
But I was so drunk. I vomited.
It doesn't matter. That's exactly why he shouldn't have done it. He should have been holding your hair, getting a washcloth, taking care of you, cleaning up the puke, put you in a clean t-shirt, and put you to bed, and he would sleep on the couch. That's what he should have done. Yeah, I mean, it makes me very angry. And this is not just men.
Yeah.
I've had the same thing. I mean, I wasn't raped, but I have said to women no, and they still went ahead and did something.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me twice now, where I was like, no, I don't want this. One of them stopped, but I had to be a bit forceful.
Yeah.
Like, no, I said no. Like, how many times do I have to say no?
Mm-hmm.
But any other time, I just gave in. I did give in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's end this one on a fun story. I want to hear what the best sex you ever had. Why? What was the situation, and why was it so much fun?
Well, before I think about the situation, I must say that I'm very demanding.
Sexually?
So, yes.
Okay.
Like I demand to be satisfied, you know. For me it's not Like it's,
In what way? What way are we talking about? You need it a lot, or you always need to have an orgasm?
I need to have an orgasm, of course. Like,
okay, so okay, well, that's not enough course.
Like
That's not enough course for you. It's enough course, but
like
not
imagine
for every person.
sometimes I'm having really good sex and I don't have an orgasm, and that's not because the sex is bad. It's just because I'm not able to have an orgasm.
Yes, it's very normal.
Yes, but I need to be satisfied, like with or without orgasm. With orgasm, even better. But I need to have a satisfying sex. Like I don't admit that someone is just there on top of me and like doing their thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
Not giving a fuck about me, like.
Yeah. No. I see what you're saying. I think we all want that, to be honest.
Yeah. But the best sex that I ever had, I don't know.
But then you're not being demanding. I think that's quite normal. I mean, I don't believe in normality, but it's quite acceptable that you want to be satisfied when you're having sex. I don't think that's demanding at all. Like, I'm so demanding because I want to have pleasure when I have sex. Like, that's just crazy talk now.
But I mean, like, when you have like sex, when the majority of the sex that you have is with men, and men are like, they are like thinking that, oh yeah, I just need to come and she's satisfied, like I don't need to do anything. I just need to put my dick inside of her and she's like in heaven,
Mm-hmm.
You would know that this is more normal than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of men, they think that just because they are having sex with a woman, that it's being satisfying, and that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that they don't know what the fuck they are doing.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm doing this project. No, it's true. Like, a lot of people don't know, and that's not that man thing either. I've had very bad sexual experiences with women.
It's the same with guys. It's like there's a lot of different penises. And
exactly.
different vaginas.
Some guys like to be, like want their balls being pulled or whatever. Like yeah. So that's. Every individual has different exactly
tastes,
exactly why I'm doing this, because people need to figure out together what they're into and what they like.
Yeah.
Back
to the question. Actually, like, I think the best sex that I ever had was with this guy, the one night stand guy, the guy that pushed me out the door the next day. Because
that's why you were mad. You were like, "What? We're not repeating this?"
Because we had such a nice sex, like, and then like the guy has this reaction, maybe he's like a playboy and he's like satisfying all the women, but I mean, we had really good sex and I don't understand why. But yeah, this was very funny because like I said, it was like a mental connection, and then it started like, then we went up the stairs to his apartment, already kissing, and then like a soap opera, like in the shower, like all like rainbows and flowers going on, and then this and that, like, so it was very funny. I had a really good time with him. But like with my boyfriend now, I also had nice experiments with him because I have much more experience than him. Like, he had like four girls in his life, so he's like kind of like a how can I say, like a student. Like, he's kind of like a student because like sometimes I have to teach him how to engage in things,
Okay, so you're saying that you're kind of teaching him, but the way I see it, when you start a relationship with somebody, you always are kind of teaching somebody how you work.
Yeah.
Or what are you teaching him that you're saying, like, I'm kind of like a mentor to him sexually? Like,
well, the
what are
thing
we
is
talking
that
about?
like in my previous relationships, like I always felt that I was like very submissive, and the guy was like dominant because they had always more experience than me, so they were like kind of like leading the situation, like they were like the dominant of the situation, But in now with my boyfriend, in this case, it's like I'm teaching him to be dominant because, like I said, he has not so much experience. So it's like sometimes it's kind of nice because sometimes I'm like really surprised because every day, like, we are dating for 3 years, but when we have sex, sometimes it's like a new surprise, and for me this is quite nice because I never had this with the other guys, because with the other guys, it was always like I was following a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I was following them, and I was like kind of doing what they were doing, you know. And now he's like,
In what way do you mean? Like the other, you are more in control of like how the sex is happening, or are you doing it together?
together. Not it's there is not like one.
One is a top or one is a bottom.
Yeah, we together.
Let me
we
talking gay speak.
Yeah.
Like there's no dominant and no submissive.
Exactly.
You're both versatile.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is something that really how do you say, pleases me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that when the role playing is happening? Does
Uh,
that come into play? Is that why you like it?
well, I would not call it role play, but like he told me that my boyfriend, he told me that he doesn't like to talk during sex, but like I like it. But in the last times, like in the last 2 months, he's like kind of like going a bit more out of the shell, you know. And I don't want him to do something that he doesn't like, but I also don't want to be limited to do to not do something that I want to do, if you know what I mean. So I think in the last months we found like a consensus about this, because I like to talk during sex and I like this creative side, you know, the role play, blah, 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 and he doesn't like it so much. That's why maybe the best experiment was with this guy that was all like a fantasy, you know, because he was so animalistic. But I think I'm now achieving this with my boyfriend, you know? That's why I compare both.
Well, sometimes it takes time and trust and comfortability to get to that level with somebody. And as you said, you have more experience than he does in certain ways. So, you know, like he doesn't mind taking things to a different level. And if he's open to threesomes and stuff. But, you know, like that does mean he is more adventurous. So it kind of sounds like, you know, you're in a good, healthy sexual relationship with your boyfriend.
Yeah. I would say so.
So then you have to kind of look at, can he cook? Can he clean himself? Like all the other things you're looking for in a partner. So in your bisexuality, though, I'm curious because do you have a preference? Like, it kind of sounds like you have more of a preference with men. Like you're more sexually attractive to women, but you wouldn't really want to be in a relationship with a woman.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have a preference to men.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So you're romantically attracted to men, but sexually attracted to women.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
Right. So you've never.
Also,
but with the Dutch woman though.
Yeah.
To get back to that. Like she wanted to have a relationship. Like she wanted like a real thing.
Yeah, she wanted a relationship. Yes.
Right. So was it because it was so soon and it seemed emotionally unstable that you didn't want to do that, or because you kind of already knew that's not what I want in life? I want to be with a guy. Like,
both.
Yeah. So it did play a part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both.
Okay. Well,
because like I would not say that I would never have a relationship with a woman, but it would have to be like someone that, because for example with men I had like disastrous relationships, like with this French guy, you know, like and I was in a relationship with him, you know, but I think with a woman I would not take the same step. I would not just have a relationship like this, you know. I would have to select someone that I'm really attracted and interested in.
Why is that, you think?
I don't know.
Why that difference? Like, why does it matter?
I think that
like why just to be clear what I'm asking, why would a man get away with that much easier than a woman?
I think it's because it's related to the fact that my father played a big role in my life. So I had this really strong paternal masculine figure in my life, and I think it's something that I want to have, you know. Like, I want to have, like, a male partner. Like, so I think it's related to this.
Is that a security thing? Like, does that make you feel more safe? You don't think you can get that from a woman?
Yeah. Yeah, also. Or maybe not, like, imagine, yes, with a woman, but not with that woman. And
well, that was clear.
Yeah, not with that woman. And I think the fact that it's easier to have, like, a shitty relationship with a man that with a woman for me.
Why?
It's because, like I said, you have like I have a masculine figure in my life that is very strong, and it's like a man. It's it's a man, it looks like a man, like
It
physically.
behaves like a man. It talks like a man.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. So I think it's related to this, But maybe if I would date like a woman that I'm interested in and she's more masculine, I don't know, like I'm open to all possibilities.
Yeah, if it's more of a butch woman,
yeah,
that
maybe.
takes more of a masculine role, I guess.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Any last thoughts that you want to share? Anything you want to share with anybody?
No, just peace and love for everyone, and and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
You look mighty fine. Won't you rub your fingers down